Hello again. I hope you enjoyed Dr. Willingham's videos on learning styles. As many of you, maybe all of you, are keenly aware, learning styles continue to be discussed as a useful thing to understand children's instructional needs. It is still taught to new teachers and teacher training. This is in spite of a great deal of research that says that they are not helpful. The article I put on Blackboard is one of the many that have reviewed this evidence and came to this conclusion. It has become such a deep and pervasive belief in many schools across the country that it is often accepted without question. So this was my first example of how education continues its history of embracing ideology over science. The second example may be less well known to you unless you work in special education, where this is still very prevalent. The use of vision therapy to help or even cure dyslexia. Another recent example of an educational practice that goes against a large and decisive body of research is the use of vision therapy for children who have dyslexia. Vision therapy is not effective for children with dyslexia because dyslexia is not a vision problem. We will talk more about dyslexia in the weeks to come, but for now it's important to understand that children with dyslexia have great trouble with decoding and spelling, stemming from a phonological core deficit, difficulty with the sound structure of language, and matching those sounds to print. It is a myth that children with dyslexia read words backwards or reverse letters. Children with dyslexia process reading information differently, inefficiently, making decoding and spelling very difficult. They need structured instruction, not glasses. In the supplemental section, I have placed a research article by Fletcher and Curie that outlines the evidence on use of vision therapies for reading disabilities. This would include the intervention/therapy where the focus is on vision rather than instruction of the code, color overlays, eye exercises, special glasses, etc. A good recent example is the Chromogen lenses, summarized in the marketing advertisement at this link, where it claims to be life-changing and breakthrough technology. Desperate and vulnerable parents have spent a great deal of money and valuable time on things that scientific research has demonstrated do not work. The third example is one we've already talked about, Project Follow Through. As you recall, this was the largest educational research study ever done. Remember this graph? It shows the overall results. The bars represent the different areas of assessment. Black, equal academic, checked box, cognitive, and diagonal line, affective. Also, the vertical axis. Along the vertical axis, you can see the instructional programs. Bars going to the right of 0 indicate positive effects of the program, compared to controls, and bars to the left indicate the controls did better than the named instructional approach. Negative effects. Direct instruction did clearly better than all the other programs on measures of academic skills, cognitive skills, and on measures of social and emotional skills, affective skills. Most of the other programs actually did worse than their match controls. Yet despite these results, many schools continued to adopt ineffective reading instructional approaches and programs. And many teacher preparation programs at colleges and universities continued to teach these approaches to future educators. Most teachers and educators have never heard of Project Follow Through. In fact, in the late 70s and 80s, this was said to be the heyday of the whole language movement. This was right after the largest educational research project ever done showed that whole language was ineffective. In Chapter 11, Seidenberg outlines a number of misguided reading programs, ideas, that do not follow the science of reading, yet their programs or concepts thrive in education. Seidenberg also discusses how teachers are trained in these faulty programs and ideas in their teacher training programs. How do we change the culture of higher education to better embrace science of reading and science of learning? Is it possible? Let's take a closer look at higher education. As Seidenberg outlines, higher education is clearly part of the problem and could be considered a fourth example of how we as a field embrace ideology over science. You might be thinking, man, this is all so negative and depressing. Can't we talk about something more pleasant, as Seidenberg quotes in his book? In our next lecture, we are going to explore some of the things that give me hope about our field moving towards embracing the science of reading. I see higher education as an example of ignoring research, but also as an important place for revolution. And I think there is some hope, still work to do, but a place for hope that you can also influence. We do know a great deal about reading and have many sources to guide us.